doing a weekly outlook. So there's a few pairs I'm actually going to cover today. I've expanded my list for you guys to give you guys a bit more options in terms of what to look for, especially for those of you who are already in the mentorship program. You guys have like 15 pairs that I've charted up for you guys for this week with a full breakdown of what to look for outside of the main pairs that I already cover with signals and things like that. So very excited to see what you guys pull in this week. As always, though, I want to quickly talk about the news coming up this week. So I don't care about the news. I don't trade the news. I don't read the news. Nothing like that. I just kind of look at what's coming out, and I look for certain news events that might trigger some sort of form of manipulation or wicking, things like that. Now, just because a news event is categorized as high impact doesn't mean that it actually will have an effect on the market. For example, durable goods, new home sales, these essentially have no movement in the market, right? How I trade, it's solely based off of price action and numbers, all right? So news just has no effect on my outlook on a pair, but of course you want to be aware of any shifts in volatility, okay? So the main ones I'm just going to point out to you guys is going to be the CAD inflation rate, along with all the CPI news on Tuesday. On Wednesday, we have a lot of, we have more Euro inflation rate along with some Euro CPI, so be aware of that. Those released at 4 a.m. Central Time, which is around the London Open. Thursday, we have a lot of news, a lot of CPI here, so just be aware of that. CPI is hit or miss, though. Sometimes it can have these, big shifts in momentum in the market. It cause a lot of wicking. Other times it does nothing. So CPI, like I said, kind of 50-50. And then Friday, we have more inflation rates along with some inflation rate out of the Euro and then Euros. Anytime inflation rate, interest rates, that's when I'm a bit more cautious. Those are kind of the main ones I look for. All right, so as you see here, guys, I got a lot marked up. I'm just going to focus on about 5 pairs for you guys. But before I do that, so last week I posted in the public Discord here that I was looking for buys off of EuroCAD and that it played out or was playing out. Hit my risk-free target, and obviously, as we see, ended up going break even. So was looking really, really good. I was hoping to be in a position to be able to get a sell from this level, this 1.45 thousand, 1.44800 level. However, it just didn't come up enough into my zone in order for me to see the price action here to warrant a sell. So break-even entry on this. On to the next. No win, no loss, no gain. But very interested in this week for a possible buy, even if it's a short-term buy, at least coming into this week. Now, you guys know whenever I do my outlooks on a setup or on a pair, I always look at both sides of the market, all right? So at least as of right now, I'm favoring the buy setup from here coming into this week for a move back up into 144.200, and then from there, obviously, it could break higher or it might offer a sell setup. So what I would want to see here, guys, is price pull down into this zone, preferably looking for 1 hour or 2 hour price action here for a possible entry. If that doesn't line up, then I'll be looking for this to break through and then retest 143.200 for that possible sell move lower. Okay, so just depends on how price lines up here, but definitely something I'm looking for around this 143.200 level. Next pair. Now, I usually don't trade USD pairs. I used to trade them a lot, but over like the last, say, 6 months to a year, I've kind of figured out that I don't like how they move so much. I've really shifted more towards CAD, JPY, and AUD pairs. However, this setup here on USD CAD looks very, very promising. Certainly something I'm looking for as I head into the week. But like I said, guys, I always view things on both sides of the market, right? I always have sort of 2 outlooks. That way, if the first one doesn't line up, I can kind of expect what's going to happen if on the alternate scenario. So right now, looking for this sort of break retest of 131.800 for a possible buy. What I want to see here, guys, is basically I want to see further rejections either on the 30-minute, the 1 hour, the 2 hour. The 30-minute does have some nice price action lining up, but what I would really like to see that would really play out best for me would be something like this on the 1 hour, just for another kind of push and a tap of this 31.800 level for a buy. Now, it also lines up with DXY, which is, at least as of right now, looking like it might see a move higher on the dollar. So, a buy from here, at least up into the next zone around 132.8. It's an easy 1 to 4. And then if we break higher up into like 133.5, that's like an easy 1 to 7. It's only 160 pips, obviously depending on your stop loss, but 1 to 6, 1 to 7 easily. So this is something I'm looking for as I move into Sunday today, or London session tomorrow. So I really wanted to bring this to you guys' attention. This looks pretty nice. Needs a bit of price action still, but something definitely worth watching. Now, if this doesn't play out, if the price action doesn't occur and this begins to break lower, then I'll just be looking for that retest of 131.8, 132,000 for that sell move lower. Okay. Another pair I'm actually pretty interested in. A newer pair I've been trading or looking at over the last couple weeks, which has actually given some really, really nice trades. Back in the 8th of June, this has done like a 1 to 8, and then it also gave another trade where it's done a 1 to 6. Just easy 14-15% you could have made just on this one pair. Currently looking for possible sells. Now I know JPY pairs as a whole are very, very bullish, so I'm being very, very patient here. But AUD and NZD pairs are also on a free fall right now, so I'm watching this for possible sells. I want to see a bit more price action, preferably. If I can get something like this on like the hourly or the 2 hour, I'll definitely be looking for a sell move down. Now that doesn't mean it'll be, falling right back down into like 84,000. But it could come down to 87.5. For example, let's say we get a sell from up in here. That's an easy, 1 to 3. Even if it comes down into here, 1 to 4. And then from there, you could be in a position to possibly buy or hedge this for a move higher, right? So you could take the sell and then eventually get into the hedge if that lines up as well. But as always, guys, if this doesn't play out, if this ends up breaking higher, I'm actually looking for this to break higher and then retest 88.5 for that possible buy, which lines up with most JPY pairs. But again, guys, I literally trade what I see always, all right? I don't trade using correlation. I don't trade the news. I just trade what I see, and it never fails me, okay? So keep an eye on this pair as well. So that's 1, 2, 3. Okay, so AUD, USD, and NZD, USD. So AUD, USD, again, I don't really trade USD pairs, but this pair has been beautiful this month. A nice 1 to 11, a nice 1 to 6. And then last week, this is a pair I set up. I had mentioned to monitor for an extra pair for the mentorship students that's played out for about 115 pips for a 3.3. So absolutely beautiful move on this. So I'll be looking to double down on this pair and see if this can come back up and give another entry. So looking for this break retest of 0.67 thousand, and then I'll be looking for it to push up into my zone, then hopefully line up for a possible sell setup. But again, the alternate would be for this, if this is a fake out into like the 0.665, I'll be looking for this to break, retest, and then go higher. But as of right now, I definitely favor the sell setup. And you just be looking to add. You'd be looking to add positions here. Like if this was to break down into 0.65 thousand, that right there is a 1 to 8. I had quite a few students who caught this last week, which is just beautiful price action. I mean, you guys can see. I mean, add up all these trades here over the last few weeks. That's 8. That's 6. That's 14. Nothing on this one. And then right here on AU, like this right here is a 3. So that's 14 plus 3. That's 17 plus 6, 23. Plus 10, that's 30, or say plus 11, 33, 34%. You could have made, like, just off these pairs. It just goes to show, trades are there, guys, as long as you know what you're doing and you're looking at the proper pairs and setups. But definitely something worth watching coming this week. NZD USD, same thing, looking for this to pull back up and give that retest of 0.615, 0.618 for that possible sell move lower. Otherwise, what I'll be looking for is for this to break higher. Now, last week, I was looking for buys. Or the week before last, I posted I was looking for buys. Never really played out, plus it was on a Friday. But then it broke lower. Retested. This is a good example, guys. Looking for buys, doesn't really give much. Break lower. Retest. Boom. Alright? So that's why it's always good to have sort of two outlooks. That way, if the first one doesn't line up, you can kind of expect that the second one usually will. Alright? So that right there is 5 pairs to look at with some clean setups lining up that will probably line up in the first 1, 2, or 3 days of the week ahead. As these pairs begin to line up or even play out, I'll post about them and bring it to you guys' attention in the public Discord. Have a great week, guys. As always, strict risk management, stay patient, stay focused, and I'll update with you guys throughout the week.